Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. Here we can see the Witchhead Nebula. Beyond that, by a few hundreds of light years, is Barnard's Loop and all the wonderful nebula that reside there. And all of this is tantalizingly close to the permit-locked Cold 70 sector. Why is this all relevant? Well, it's the location for Elite Dangerous's next event. Before we get to that though, there is some other news which may or may not be related. Personally, I think it is actually related. The Thargoids have withdrawn from human-occupied space. Yes, that's right, there's no more Thargoids to be found anywhere within the human bubble. You can't find any AX conflict zones, you can't find any Thargoid scouts. They simply left, very suddenly and without any warning. No one really knows what's going on, but there is a Galnet article summing this up, and let's have a read of that. So it's headlined, Thargoids withdraw from core systems. And it goes on to say, reports indicate that the Thargoids have abruptly withdrawn from the majority of human-occupied space. Admiral Aidan Tanner, Chief Military Liaison for Aegis, announced multiple reliable sources have reported a mass departure of Thargoid craft. Their forces vanished from dozens of locations within hours of each other. Only the Maya and Merope systems are still reporting Thargoid activity. Our theory is that the Thargoids have retreated due to our defense operations depleting their numbers. Then again, they may simply be reconsidering their strategy. Either way, Aegis will continue to monitor the situation. In response, Professor Ishmael Palin of the Palin Research Center offered these words of warning. Celebrating any kind of victory over the Thargoids would be premature. We have no proof that their withdrawal was a result of human activity, and this action is at odds with their highly territorial nature. Nevertheless, this is still a significant, if mysterious, development. So a number of observations here, some of them pretty positive, some of them on the not so good side. Basically, this could turn out to be something quite spectacular. It could turn out to be something very, very interesting indeed, depending on how it's handled. Thargoids have always had the potential to be very interesting, and in the early days, they generated a very lot of interest amongst the player base. The other side of this, of course, is that how much do people actually care? The fact that Thargoids disappeared, no one really noticed. Well, actually, a few people noticed because of the lack of AX combat zones when this server came back up after maintenance mode. But other than that, no one really knew what was going on, and the only way we did become aware of what was going on was due to a Galnet article. Without this, would anyone really know what had happened? But that's an age-old criticism against Elite Dangerous, so no real point focusing on that too much right now. So instead, let's have a think about what this could mean for the game and what it could mean for the story. Now, coincidentally, or perhaps not coincidentally, there's the Interstellar Initiative to consider. The Interstellar Initiative is focusing on locating new meta-alloys. We know sources of meta-alloys come from barnacles, and we know barnacles actually belong to the Thargoids. A new source of meta-alloys has recently been located in the Witchhead Nebula, and quite naturally, humans now want to go and populate the area in order to farm these resources. And this brings us on to the latest community goals, the next part of the Enclave Interstellar Initiative. So there are 3 community goals, one for each of the superpowers, the Alliance, the Federation, as well as the Empire, and they all want to establish a presence within the Witchhead Nebula. So players are asked to source specific materials, and then these materials will be used to construct megaships as well as space stations out there in the Witchhead Nebula. It's also interesting to see that this community goal is 11 days long rather than the usual 7. We also know that nebula are the prime locations for barnacles, and on top of that, the Witchhead Nebula is very, very close to Barnard's Loop, which is centered around the Cold 70 sector. Now, for the longest time, ever since the Cold 70 sector actually became permit-locked, because it wasn't always permit-locked, but ever since that happened, players have speculated that Cold 70 may be the home of the Thargoids. It's worth considering then that the Witchhead Nebula is actually very, very close to that particular region of space, so just maybe the Thargoids would have issue with humans encroaching on this area en masse. Now, personally, the way I'd like to see this go is for the Thargoids to have an all-out assault on humans. Basically, start attacking everywhere and everyone. Don't make it optional content, because until now, Thargoids have been entirely optional. If you want to avoid them, you are free to do so. But that's not much of a threat now, is it? So it would be much better if Thargoids started hyperdicting people and attacking them. Give players a chance to escape, of course, but make the Thargoids' presence known, make it felt, and make it actually feel like it really does mean something. It would certainly be a very bold move for Frontier if they were to go and do something like that. But of course, this is all speculation. We don't know why the Thargoids have left human-inhabited space. Just maybe they've had enough and moved on to something else. Maybe it's not related to the Interstellar Initiative at all. Maybe they're just going to be removed. Or maybe there's an even bigger threat coming and the Thargoids want to get out of the way before that actually happens. But it does seem more than a little coincidental that this is happening at the same time as the Interstellar Initiative. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Let me know in the comment section below. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.